Hello and welcome to a very, very hot Sunday. I am sweltering today. Don't know about you, Jay.
Realm of actually.
We really are. We really are. It's a bit toasty, but we are here with the hobby stream for today. I'm not going to paint today because it is way too hot to do any painting. But you're furiously painting away already, Jay.
Yeah, I'm trying to just get a bit more done on the Grey Knights. Well, I can't decide whether they're going to be a strike squad or a purify squad, but yes, I am painting. I
Amazing.
contemplated building because, like you say, it's very hot, but I'm going to see how I get on.
Dedication to the cause. I see we've got Dave in the chat over on YouTube. How are you doing, Dave? Are you all right?
Has he recovered from his battle against Be'lakor?
This is it. It's a stressful time battling Be'lakor. You want to watch out for that. I'm doing something a bit different today. I'm going to do a bit of an unboxing and build of the Nautica Syphoning Delegation for Necromunda from Forge World. Really, really cool models. Spoilers, I have opened these and cleaned them, but I haven't had a proper look at all the bits yet. So we'll open this up, have a look at it, and then hopefully get these built over the course of the stream today. So it should be a bit of fun. So we'll pop this open and have a nose.
So they resin then, are they, Matt?
They are resin from Forge World, yeah. So this is the one of the Water Guild for Necromunda. Now you haven't really played much of the new edition of Necromunda, have you? Have you even played a game of it?
No, I haven't actually thinking about it.
So obviously you've got the various gangs, but in the House of books, they've introduced a lot of these kind of like sub guilds and mini guilds and alliances that you can have, where you can get the favour of one of these minor houses, and they will work with you. But you've got to be careful because over the course of the campaign, you might end up upsetting them or doing something that displeases the guild and they leave you. So these are quite cool. That obviously you've got a variety of different looking models you can add to your warband and core for their aid. So currently they've got models for this, and there is the Slaver Guild as well, which I haven't built yet either. They look really, really cool. Kind of a big slave master and some pit fighters.
The Goliath type.
Goliath-looking guys, yeah. They're more Goliath themed, and there's quite a few of these across all the House of books. So yeah, really, really like the look of these. Looking forward to building them, especially the Big Daddy-looking guy. So yeah, let's have a look at all the bits and see what we get. So we'll move the instruction book to one side for now. Dave has not recovered from his battle against Be'lakor. And Morton Joe says, go for Purifiers, Jay, in anticipation of the new Crow model.
Yeah, I think you might be right, Joe. I do like the look of the Purifiers with the white helmet. It sort of breaks up the silver a bit. But yeah, that new Castellan Crow model looks so nice.
It does.
Yeah, I think
really,
you might.
Really cool.
I think I will do them as Purifiers.
Ace. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing your Grey Knights force, Jay.
Yeah, well, I mean, the advantage of the Grey Knights is you don't need very many of them because they're quite elite, and the Grey Knight Terminator models have really stood the test of time. They're really nice, and I think they can take regular Terminator. Well, you can at the moment regular Terminators as troops, which is a great choice for troops with objectives secured and the way the 9th edition works. So I'm thinking perhaps, yeah, if I make these Purifiers, I can even split them into 2 squads of Purifiers and then have all my troops as Terminators rather than, because the Purifiers are a bit of an elite faction within the Grey Knight, like a sub-faction. So then I could have the Terminator models as my troops. We'll have to see what the new book lets you do, whether that's possible still.
Yeah, obviously the book might add a few new bits as well. Got to say, these kits are really nice, Jay. The Necromunda stuff. We've got Daz Moore in the chat. Hey, Team Sprues and Brews. Daz has challenged us to a bit of a showdown at Warhammer World. I think we are all up for that. Did you say you're on holiday now, Jay?
Yeah, September 4th. Yeah, the weekend after I'm there, but I completely forgot that I'm away that week. It's because we've not had holiday for so long with COVID. But yeah,
That's it, holiday. What's that?
I'll be on WhatsApp. Just let us know how you get on. That'll be ace to have a game of Warhammer World again, wouldn't it, with Daz?
Yeah.
So what are you thinking? Age of Sigmar, is that going to be?
Age of Sigmar, yeah. A couple of games have a bit of a mini league or something. So
yeah, nice.
We have actually got a spare place then, I guess, if anybody is in the Nottingham area, fancies a game at some point. Yeah, these are really nice. I'm looking forward to building this stuff. Steve Harbour in the chat saying evening all. Immortal Joe also says it doesn't hurt that they all have D6 damage smites. Yeah, that's true.
D6 D6 damage smites, do they?
Yeah, for your Grey Knights.
Ooh.
So yeah,
Wow, that is.
that'll deal with Bellicor, Jay.
That'll sort Bellicor out, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll have to pit the Grey Knights against Bellicor.
To Lord of Chaos says, hello, Sprues and Brews. Hello to Lord of Chaos.
Hello.
So we were super excited to get Twitch affiliate status yesterday as well, so that's exciting. We started a little bit late because we were having some technical problems. I don't know if you found this, Daz, when you got ours, but Twitch just wasn't having it tonight on Streamlabs. I had to restart everything and sign in again. But we are live now, so that is good. There's a lot of little fiddly parts in this kit. Let's get all these out and we'll have a look at them. Spindly bits, so I think this might be a careful build for this one. So, to Lord of Chaos, looking forward to our Dasmore Wargaming versus Sprues and Brews Scuffle at Warhammer World. Absolutely, yeah. I think it'll be really fun. We'll
good practice for the purple spotted unicorns as well.
Yeah, definitely. I might have to bring my Everchosen. Seems the way to go. So, everyone who's watching in the chat, what are you guys working on today? Have you got any hobby on at the minute? I know it is a bit hot for painting today, but yeah, it's. I've done a lot of washing resin today. I've got a load of the Elder Scrolls kits arrived, a load of scenery, and I've been working on that really. I don't know if I've shown you this to you yet, Jay.
I think I saw some scenery in the WhatsApp group.
So we've got the Dragon Wall. Should be showing on the screen shortly. Really, really nice, big, chunky bit of resin for that. So looking forward to painting that up. I've also got the big kind of archers from Bleak Falls Barrow. So there's two of them. And this stuff will look really nice in a game of Age of Sigmar as well. Yeah. And then I really like the dungeon walls with the kind of Draugr kind of laying in the slumber.
Like the dwarf stuff.
So yeah, these are really fun. So yeah, looking forward to doing that.
The Draugr are like the undead,
the undead guys. And I also built Malagurst. Sadly, I didn't have like a super early Praetor in my box, but Malagurst turned out all right. Really happy with him. And I built a load of Elder Scrolls models. So yeah, it's been a productive day. Yesterday, managed to finish off the big fella himself, Ghazghkull. So let's just switch over to here. We'll just pop him up on screen in a minute. So really happy with how he turned out.
The beast himself.
Took about a week to paint him.
Slow going for you, Matt.
It is slow going, but I wanted to give him some, do him justice. I'm really, really happy with how he's turned out. There's been lots of kind comments about him online. So yeah, all hyped up to painting some orcs. I kind of want to do some goths now, and then Makari. I have started painting until I've got some base colours down, basically, and some washes, but he needs highlighting up and following the same steps as Ghazghkull, but it was way too hot. The paint was drying on my brush, so I abandoned that idea.
I'm having that problem at the moment with this black, actually. I'm not sure whether it's worth sticking with it because I don't want to knacker it.
Well, yeah, it's. I am tempted in investing in a wet palette for times like this, but even then, that won't stop your paints from drying on your brush when it's so hot. It's 30 something degrees, I think, last time I checked at 7 o'clock on a Sunday. That's pretty horrific, isn't it? So we have got Immortan Joe. I could pop down to Warhammer World and maybe have my first ever game of AOS now that I finished painting my first Dark Collecting box of Flesh Eater Courts. That'd be really cool. It'd be cool to have a game with you, Immortan Joe. Let us know if you're in the area.
Old school.
Yeah.
I remember they were all the rage at the beginning of Age of Sigmar 2, were they? Flesh Eater Courts,
we were in a tournament and got absolutely decimated by Flesh Eater Courts, weren't we, on doubles? Yeah. To Lord of Chaos says, I saw you had a game with the Disciples of Bellicor. Yeah, we did. It was really fun. Bellicor's a beast. I think there's definitely ways of dealing with him. Obviously, we've both not played for a while, and I think it's easy to try and shoot him with all your powerful but high strength weapons, where really you can take him out fairly easily if you just flood him with all your low strength rapid fire shots. Steve Harbour is building the Unmade. Amazing. Immortan Joe says, Dave, did you see the comment I made for your game versus Matt about the enriched rounds? My heart bled for you. So this is one of the things that could have... Obviously, Be'lakor is really tough to kill, but the enriched round with the Skitarii, that Immortan Joe kindly reminded Dave of after the battle, basically means that any hits of 4+ automatically wound. So you're getting round the...
-1 to wound.
The -1 to wound restriction, making it actually with the amount of shots that you equivalent points. I don't know how many points 20 Skitarii are, but it's a lot less than Be'lakor. They could take him out in a turn doing that, even with his 4+ invulnerable save. And then the make damage 0 stratagem is pointless because you're going to save a wound on him.
Yeah.
I really don't think it's worth shooting any high damage weapons at him at all, just because he's ignoring half of them. It's -1 to wound him, and the one that does go through, he's going to just ignore anyway. So lots and lots of 1 damage weapons, especially 1 damage weapons that get through his -1 to wound restriction.
Yeah, and his toughness, the high toughness.
And his toughness, really good. So yeah, unfortunately, they found that out after the game. But that's a rematch we can have at some point, and I'll have to be careful with Be'lakor because he'd be quite vulnerable to that.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, I mean, like you say, you automatically you sort of jump into your las cannons and missile launchers, aren't you? But I guess if you've got strats as well, which let you increase. So, like for example, the Space Marines, they can rapid fire all their weapons with a certain double the rapid fire value. I think. Can't remember what's called. I don't know. It might just be an Ultramarines one actually. But if the Skitarii have got access to a strat like that as well, and then they're auto wounded on 4s.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and because you can't protect him from any shooting, can you? He's not he's always targetable, isn't he? He's, with the amount of wounds he's got, you can't hide him.
That's it. So he can be quite vulnerable, but it is easy to get spooked by him because he's a big scary model.
Yeah, and he is all you've got as well. Like you say, you can't take another Demon Prince to sort of distract people with, or if once he dies, that is your big hitter dead, really.
That's it. Yeah, your army is Be'lakor, so it's a risky one. Obviously, you can use him just a generic demon force as well, and he's still good in that. Obviously, you wouldn't get the -1 to hit abilities on your demons, which is very strong. But I suppose the question is it worth the not having Demon Prince's greater demons? So I mean, for that game, it wasn't a super competitive game. It was a more narrative one, just to show off what you could do and show off the new Skitarii sub-faction as well. So Dasmore still doesn't know what army to use in our battle. That's coming up. To Lord of Chaos, got to be a Chaos one. Anonymous Rex says, how are you guys handling the heat? Badly. It has been a hot old day. I literally, I don't know if you can see it behind me. We literally went to the shops to buy a fan today because it was so hot. I've been living on ice creams and cold drinks today.
We spent the afternoon at the ice cream farm.
Did you? Excellent.
Yeah.
Snugbreeze, did you go?
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool.
That queue, we got there. The queue was bad. We came out, went for a walk around the beat, and the queue was even worse. So
was it? Oh no.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing, so that was a quick look at all the parts in the kit. Really nice to get loads of bits on these models. It's going to be a bit of a fiddly one, I think, but we'll take it slowly and see how we go. Like I say, I'm not expecting to do much more than build these on the stream today, and hopefully you guys can see what these look like. I think they're currently out of stock from Forge World at the minute. I think they were very, very popular. So yes, that's the plan. Building this guy up. And having a look at the kit. I mean, we've mentioned this a few times on the stream, but Forge World instructions have come on a long way, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
Back in the day, it was more of an exploded diagram if you were lucky. Most of them just had a picture. There you go. There's a picture of the finished model.
Did you buy something recently, which was an old model? Was it a Predator or something like
Predator,
that?
Yeah. Predator was pretty much, here's a picture of a Predator. Awesome. Thanks for that. To the point where I had to find the instructions for the Rhino to build the tracks, because they just assumed you knew that as well, and it didn't include the plastic instructions in there. So yeah, it was a fun one. I really hope that we get a plastic 30k Predator with the new Heresy box on the horizon.
Yeah. talking of tracks, I was Joe, when you sort of like almost nodding off and you're just thinking about random stuff. I was thinking last night, just as I was almost nodding off, I was thinking about Grey Knight Land Raiders. And I was thinking, you know, how I was gonna tackle painting a Land Raider, because I'm definitely gonna have a Land Raider in my army. And you don't see Land Raiders very often anymore, do you?
But I really like Land Raiders. They still look good, don't they?
Do, yeah. So I'm definitely having a Grey Knight. You used to be able to get a Forge-World Grey Knight one, I think, as well, with the incinerator cannons on it. I think.
Yeah,
so,
you did. I think there's the one with the side cannons. Did they have?
Yeah, it might be on the top, the turret. Yeah, or the hull-mounted sort of forward-facing one. I might have to have a look on eBay for something like that, because that might be quite cool. And I was thinking, I wonder. So obviously, I'll spray it spray it black, and then spray it lead belt, so that gives me the base, and then I can just sort of like wash it and shade it and whatnot. I'm thinking, but then what do I do about the tracks? The tracks, normally I'd paint the tracks on a tank like that lead belcher. And I was thinking, I'm going to have to paint them black, aren't I? And highlight, you know, so they'll have black tracks rather than silver tracks. Just odd things you think about when you sort of nodding off. You mentioned tracks then, it got me thinking again.
Was this last night? You actually managed to get some sleep last night?
Oh, God. Only just. Oh, hang on, we got some tears. Someone's not happy about something. I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, no worries. So, to Lord of Chaos, gotta go, lads. Have fun, guys. See you, Sprues and Brews at Warhammer World. Absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to that. Dave has also popped on for a little bit. He'll be back shortly with a paintbrush. Amazing. I think Dave's working on his Skaven, so I'm looking forward to seeing them. He's done a really ace job on the 5 that he's painted already. Anonymous Rex, 2 of my plastic glues popped their lids and spilt everywhere with the heat. Yeah, that's not good. Watch out for rattle cans as well. They can be quite sensitive to heat. Grace here, going to make myself a curry. A curry? That's a bit hot for this weather, isn't it? I really fancy a barbecue. It is definitely barbecue weather.
I've not even had any tea yet because it's that hot. But I imagine I only had ice cream not so long ago, so maybe that's why I'm not eating any tea.
Ice cream and cereal are the staples when it's far too hot.
Yeah, I might get some shredded. Yeah, good call.
Immortan Joe says, curry, is this not enough heat for you, Grace here? Yeah, that is pretty hot.
Who's eating curry?
So Grace here is just about to make themselves a curry.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh, these models really... You need to play some Necromunda, Joe.
No, there's just too much to play. To be honest, Necromunda's on the list, but I have to say it is down a little bit. I think Adeptus Titanicus is a bit higher. I've got the Infinity models as well, which me and my brother are sort of getting ready to start playing that now. We can sort of.
Well, I've got some Infinity models as well.
Yes,
my bases that I ordered about 2 months ago, they actually arrived the other day, so I might get some paint on them. Like you say, there's so many things. What are your thoughts on Kill Team? Are you tempted by that?
Oh well, you know what? I never really got into Kill Team the first time round, but I am intrigued. I have to say, because it sounds like they've spent a lot of time on the rule set. It looks like a completely revamped rule set. And I know there's been some drama online about the symbols they're using for different things.
Oh, yeah.
But I've not read too closely into it. But yeah, I am quite tempted to try some Kill Team and convert up like a little Kill Team to play. It depends how interesting the rules. If it's just Warhammer 40,000 sort of budget 40k, then I'm not going to be that bothered about it. But if it's like Warcry, for example, Warcry is really fun. So
well, they have said that it's entirely new game. It is not based on 40k at all. Each player takes alternating activations, so you can have your guy like similar to Lord of the Rings, where you take turns moving stuff.
Yeah.
So that could be quite interesting when you're dipping in and out of cover. Weapons have unlimited range because realistically you'd be able to shoot somebody with a gun, and they've got movement kind of doodads similar to Marvel Crisis Protocol. However, the symbols correlate to ranges in inches if you so want to use a tape measure. So yeah, I don't really get all the drama on that. You can literally still use a tape measure. It just gives you the option of not using a tape measure if you prefer to use a little plastic gauges.
What I'd really like to see them do, and I don't know whether they will, is like they've done with Underworlds, where they've released warbands. So custom models that you don't get ordinarily in the Warhammer or Warhammer 40,000 range.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to do with this, with the 2 kits in the box. The Deathcore Krieg squad has got loads of options that aren't currently options on the current resin Krieg models. I think the idea is that rather than you can use them for 40k as well, but you could build them just as a kill team with all the specialist models, and everyone in the squad's meant to be like a hero of their own, aren't they?
Yeah, well, if they embrace that, then that's going to be fantastic. Because I'd love that.
Obviously,
they can introduce like units and characters from the setting that aren't represented in the Warhammer 40,000. So certain Imperial agents and things like that don't have a place currently in any codexes, but this is a good opportunity to use them in games.
Yeah, exactly. It's, I mean, the what's the other warband in there? It is Commandos. Similar to them, it looks like each model will be distinct and have its own personality and rules and stuff. And it could be that future 40k kits come out with a mind to kill team, but you can still use them in the main game.
Yeah, just like they do with the warbands.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of glad that it's based on its own system. I think that was one of our criticisms of the last edition of Kill Team, is that it was pretty much, like you say, 40k light, wasn't it?
Yeah,
we embraced the kind of multi-level combat, and I know we've just been talking about Necromunda, but that kind of vibe to it where you're leveling up and you've got different skills and loadouts, and each guy's unique and they get a bit of character over the campaign. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good box for you, isn't it, with the Deathcore and the...
Oh, yeah. I think I put on Twitter, didn't I? All my Christmases have come up once with that box. I think my favourite 40k army is the Deathcore Krieg, but however much they are for a squad, I've not really expanded them as much as I'd like to, because, I mean, it cost me a couple of £100 just to get the infantry squads up, wouldn't it? So now there's a plastic Krieg kit, that makes life a lot easier. Though, I was saying to Dave earlier, yesterday when we were playing, what I'll probably do is build that set for Kill Team, because I quite like the idea of, like you say, not trying to bodge a 40k unit into Kill Team. It's its own thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think as well, like they say, like on the Eldar side, you can take a Wraith Guard, you can take a Guardian, a Die Avenger. It just looks odd. I'd love to see like a crack team of Eldar Rangers with a Psyker in the squad with his camo cloak on there as well. A Space Marine Scout squad. With different weapon options and that you might not get in the codex. I mean, they could do that with the Custodians. The Custodians are in there, Talons of the Emperor, but all right, you could just put a regular Custodian Guard and a regular Sister of Silence. They could do something cool like the the Black Library release they did, the Custodian and the Sister, something like that.
Yeah, I've got high hopes. I think it's going to be a converter's dream, really.
Yeah.
If you can, if you take the time and convert up all the models. For the older factions that maybe don't have those cool customizable Kill Team kits.
Yeah.
Just jump into the chat. Shaking Bones says Necromunda is the best. Gracie says tea helps. That's why it was popular in India. It helps you perspire and therefore cool. I'm hoping that's not just an urban myth. Shaking Bones says, I'm just painting the Subnauticon. What head are you going to pick? You know what, Subnauticon? I didn't even know there was multiple heads. Subnautica. Oh yeah, there's 2 heads for it. Cool. Oh well, we'll make that decision later on. Maybe get you guys in the chat involved in picking which head to have as well. Dasmall just plays AOS and Lord of the Rings now.
Lord of the Rings is one we really need to get back into.
It is. It was a super. We kind of got back into it just before lockdown, didn't we? And unfortunately,
we did.
That's kind of scuppered things. But the weekly streams on a Saturday have been popular. You guys have been watching them, and it's meant that we've got a regular fixed slot where we can get some games in. Because you and Dave have got kids, we've all got day jobs as well as Sprues and Brews, so it does it is a bit bigger, a bit busy, isn't it? So by having that Sunday slot where we can Saturday slot we can play some games. It's made things a little bit easier, hasn't it? So obviously we did a lot of AOS because Dominion had just come out with a new edition and everything. And we managed to have the game yesterday, but we are open.
We're due an Adeptus Titanicus game. We are definitely due an Adeptus Titanicus.
Now I believe that we've got a piece here that's the wrong way around. How strange. That's why they've... So on the I'm trying to find the right way to stick this round. And on the instructions, they've actually kind of greyed out the guy that's in front of it. So it looks like you're looking at the back of it, but it's actually from the front point of view. And I've managed to utterly confuse myself. But no, apparently I'm just an idiot. So yeah,
try and make it easy
on.
for you, and you still mess it up.
Yeah, well, it's like, yeah, so that then goes in there somehow.
So you managed to get your Beast Snagger box, did you?
I did manage to get my Beast Snagger box. Yeah.
Did you have to queue up for any amount of time?
So, not really.
That's good.
I was on the website beforehand anyway, just because, I was. And yeah, I managed to get in the queue not long after I joined it, which was good. Now I know some people have been in the same position and ended up not getting one, which is a shame. Personally, I do think that queuing system's good for stopping the scalpers and making sure everybody gets a chance at getting one. It randomly puts you in a list.
Yeah.
Obviously, it does suck if you put like at the back of the queue, but it's just one of those things, isn't it?
I wonder if they could do a register for interest almost, and that way there's no big rush to try and be at the front of the queue on the Saturday morning. You could register ahead of time.
I think the problem would be though, you'd have the rush for the register for interest list, and it's the same queue just brought forward, isn't it?
Possibly, unless they randomised it. They said, right, we're taking interest, emails for the next 5 days, and then they'll all be put into a pot, and you'll get an email to say you can log onto the store now, or I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. No system's perfect, is it?
No, but I mean, it's meant that I've been lucky enough to get one. Some people haven't. One thing I would say about it is that the queue it sold out in half an hour, I think, but the queue was on the website for most of the day. So
I went back on at the evening about 11 o'clock at night, and I was in a queue for 2 minutes.
Yeah, I was finishing off Gazgul and looking at. Yeah, I tend to use the Games Workshop site for reference when I'm painting stuff. I don't know about you, but
that was it. Yeah, I was looking at Grey Knights.
Yeah. So for some reason we're stuck in a queue when it had long sold out, and bizarrely, even the Forge World site had a queue as well.
Yeah, right.
I think I was looking at these guys on there. Yeah, so Shaken Bone says it's confusing. I had to check the pictures on the front of the booklet, and don't forget there's 3D rotatable models at Forge World. Yeah, it's really confusing how they've done that. I managed to work out where it goes, but yeah, with all the little bits on this one, I think it's definitely one to take your time with, and probably not host a stream at the same time, so you're distracted by the chat. But we'll make that sacrifice. I'll just if by the end of the stream I've built like most of a model, that'll be why. It's a really nice model though. I can't wait to see it finished. And Morton Joe says, I've really enjoyed the Saturday streams. It just sucks that I can't watch them because I have to go to work. Yeah, it's hard to try and find the ideal time for it. We have and ahed about what time to put it on ourselves, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, we've all got jobs as well, so it's trying to find a time when we can regularly do it, because I think that's the key, isn't it, to keep it regular.
Now, we may be able to do some evening streams, like on a Friday night or something, maybe.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
I think maybe Titanicus or something, we might have to stick in that slot, Jay.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's like you say, we've got day jobs as well and other commitments. So yeah, I think the plan is we'll do one every Saturday lunchtime, and if we can, we'll throw in some bonus ones as well. It's been really fun doing them. It meant that we can play some games.
Yeah, it has been good to play a lot of Warhammer again. Although I am looking forward to taking the Grey Knights out, because I've not played Warhammer 40,000 for... I can't remember the last Warhammer 40,000 game I had. I think it might have been against Dave, against his Death Guard, when the Flamer of Doom just annihilated pretty much...
I remember that. I think it was as well, because we were talking about this on the stream yesterday, that we've played a lot of AOS recently, haven't we? We've been,
Yeah.
It's been better than last year, I think. I think again, lockdown had eased at the right time. We managed to get some games in, and we've been focusing pretty much purely on the Path to Glory side, haven't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 40k is something that we haven't really played much in the last little while. So yeah, we had to kind of remember how to play ourselves.
Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't take long to get into it, though.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, there's not massive differences between the two systems anyway, are there?
No.
Obviously, we've got the heroic actions and stuff now in 40k, but it's not completely alien to 40k, is it? So yeah. Shake and Bone says, be careful when cutting out the skin-like resin between the pieces if you haven't yet. Yeah, so obviously there's some fiddly little pieces with like voids in between them, and often just the way the mold works, you'll get like a bit of resin skin, I guess is the best way to describe it, between them. Yeah, they are super fiddly to clean out without wrecking the model. This kit has probably got the most of them I've seen from any kit I've built from Forge World, just with all the spindly arms. I built the Tech Priest that goes in the Titan, and that's got a few mechanandrates and stuff that are like that. I haven't built the Magos guy, the Dark Mechanicum fella, the big scorpion guy.
Oh yeah.
I imagine that's probably a kit with a lot of fiddly bits to work through.
I didn't realise you had that guy.
No, I haven't. I haven't built it.
Sorry, right, sorry.
So I imagine he's probably a tough one. How do you go on here? I need to get rid of that. So what are you working on at the minute there, Jay? You tinting stuff blue?
No, I've done the armour. So I did a couple of things with the armour. So I was in our local Games Workshop store at the weekend, and I was just asking for some advice on how to, because obviously I'd sprayed the model Chaos Black, and then I used lead belcher, 1 quart of lead belcher all the way over it out of a pot. Then I did a couple of thin layers of Iron Breaker. So then you've got like a nice shiny silver marine then. But the Grey Knights have that blue tint, like you say. So I thought, well, I've got some Guilliman blue glaze still left in the pot, but I haven't got very much of it left.
Precious Guilliman blue.
Yeah, you can't get it anymore. So I used a bit of that on my first one. It looked, and it worked. It turned out perfect, exactly how I wanted. But I was a bit worried that I haven't got much of it left. And the last thing you want to do is start an army and run out of a paint, and then you're scrambling around trying to. So I thought, okay, I'll try and find a different way of getting that blue sheen. So I went into Games Workshop, and he said, "Oh yeah," Dan said, "Talosar blue with some thin down with contrast medium. That will give you a similar effect." So I did that, and it worked okay initially, but then when it dried, it left a weird mark over the armor. I don't know whether it's just dried funny but I wasn't happy with the end result. So then what I did was I got some Grey Knight steel, and I thinned that down, and I used that as a glaze.
Grey Knight steel.
Yeah, now it's a bit odd, a metallic paint as a glaze, but you won't be able to see it on the camera. I don't know if you can see.
Let me switch to your camera. We'll give it a go.
Like at the bottom of the legs on the.
Just bring it back a little bit from the camera. It's not focusing, is it? Super shiny. There we go. I can see a blue. I do see a blue tint to it. That looks really nice.
Yes, and that was just thinned down Grey Knight steel. So I've gone over it's only on little bits of the armor because I didn't want the whole. I didn't want it to be blue, so you can see. I don't know if you can see. I've done it on the top of the shoulder pad. Ignore this steel plate here. This is going to be red. That's why it looks a bit. You can see. You can sort of see the difference there. Maybe if the camera's good enough between the flat steel of the shoulder pad and then the blue glaze of his sort of back.
That looks cool.
So yeah, so that's how I've done the steel, and then they're small models, so they're smaller scale in the Primaris, but they've got so much detail on them. You've got all like the inset scroll work. Some of the models have got like 10 purity seals on them or something daft like that. So there's lots of purity seals to pick out. but they're not too difficult to paint. I don't think they're quite straightforward to paint. And I think once I've got the white helmets in as well, that adds a bit of contrast to the model, rather so that they don't just look silver. And obviously the power weapons, I'm gonna do all these in one big batch, I think. So I try and make them look quite consistent.
Yeah.
The blending of the blue power weapon. But yeah, we'll have to see. But
yeah, they look good. I like that. I do like the kind of blue shift you've got to the armor there. That looks really good.
Yeah, it's just very subtle. I'm surprised you can pick it up on the camera. So that's cool. Yeah, they are nice. And like I was a bit, the small scale compared. I mean, compared to like a Sisters that I'm painting, the Sister of Battle are bigger than them, and like, it's a bit of a pain really. They're so small. But I think I'm just going for, as a whole army together, they'll look good. The scale isn't an issue. It's only when you put them next to a Primaris Space Marine you really see how big they are. But you can't avoid that. I did contemplate kit bashing some of the bits with Primaris Intercessors and things, but then they don't look like Grey Knights. Then, like I say, the Grey Knights, they have a distinctive, like they've got the Psychic Hood coming up behind them, which you don't get on the Primaris Marines. They've got like more medieval style, like greaves on the shins and things like that, which the Primaris don't have. And of course, you've got all of the detail like inset scroll work and gold sort of stuff, So I thought, if I'm going to do that, I may as well just paint silver Space Marines. So I decided to stick with the smaller scale. So
yeah, I think they look good. I think they look good as an army. They're cool models.
Yeah. So
have you enjoyed painting them? I guess is the thing.
Oh yeah, they're really nice to paint because silver's such a nice color to work with, I think, as well. So they are really nice. Like I say, doing the silver armor was quite straightforward, but picking out all this detail is a bit more time consuming. But I'm just batching them up and doing like that. And like I say, that you don't need many Space Marines in the Grey Knight army, so I am looking forward to working on some of the bigger, like the Dread Knights and tanks and things as well. So
that'd be cool. Anonymous Rex says the blue glaze is nice. Might use it on some swords. And Steve Harbour says, if you want some Guilliman blue, I have nearly a full pot I'll never use. I'm in crew, by the way.
Oh, right. Interesting. Well, yeah. I mean, probably a pot and a half of Guilliman blue will probably do me for the Grey Knights army, to be fair, as well. I may take you up on that offer. I'm not sure whether I've got another like a workaround with the Grey Knight steel glaze now that I might not need Guilliman blue, but I will let you know.
Awesome. That's a very kind to offer.
Yeah, thanks very much.
This guy's ace. I don't know if you can see. Let me switch to this briefly. You might not be able to see very well on here. But he's got like a cowboy hat. He's like a sci-fi cowboy water stealing badass. Such a cool model. You see like the little mechacandrate thing coming out and all little pistons and weird stuff coming out. It's going to be a fiddly one, this one.
I don't know, when I hear like Water Guild, I just think of that scene at the beginning of Master of Mankind where is it Valdor comes after the one of the Lords of Terror.
Oh yeah.
Stealing all the water.
Well, that's essentially what these guys do. If there's one in the Bounty Hunter that water's a valuable commodity, but you know what the greatest source of water is on Necromunda? Human bodies.
So what are you like 90% water or something?
That's it. So if you are a guild that deals in water, if you accidentally drain some water from some poor unfortunate lowlives in the Underhive, is it the end of the world? Would anybody care? I'm sure you'd get away with it. It is. I do like the stuff like that. It is a bit grimdark.
Yeah. There'd be the sort of stuff I think like Wade will do on his new show on Warhammer Plus, maybe talk about.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. 25th of August. 25th of August that goes live, doesn't it? So we've not got that long to wait really until Warhammer Plus launches. I'll be subbing. I think you said you were as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah. When you figure out all the extra stuff you get in, it's especially the model and stuff like that, and all the back catalogue, it sort of pays for itself, really.
Yeah. Cool.
I've got.
Sorry,
go on, Karen. Sorry. No, you go.
I was just going to say, everyone in the chat, What are your guys' thoughts on Warhammer Plus? Are you subscribing? Are you tempted? Do you want to see what content is there first? I think that's the only question. I don't think the new animated content is going to be super regular.
No, and I was worried about that all along, that there wouldn't be enough. They won't be able to keep up with demand. But I think they've completely sort of mitigated that issue for me with all the extra stuff you get.
Yeah, exactly.
Now the animation just seems like a bonus now to me compared to the rest of the stuff. Yeah. I would subscribe now even if there was no animation.
Yeah, and that's it. It's I guess it's kind of some of the stuff like premium Warhammer TV stuff, isn't it? I guess.
Yeah.
But then, you've got the battle reports, you've got the lore stuff, you've got, the archive, the vault interests me.
Yes. Well, I was going to say, that's what I was about to say was, have you read this month's White Dwarf? Because that's like almost like a flavour of what we might potentially see in Warhammer Plus, where they've got old battle reports and things there from decades.
Yeah, I know. This month's White Dwarf's really good. I didn't realise Jervis Johnston was retiring as well.
Oh, I didn't know.
He's a legend.
Yep.
We've only had the pleasure of meeting him at shows.
Now.
But he's responsible for a lot of Games Workshop's games. Blood Bowl, created by him. He was heavily involved in the first edition of Age of Sigmar. Yeah, bit of a legend, but he's probably getting on a bit now, isn't he? In fact, all those original Games Workshop people, Jez Goodwin, he's been there for a while, hasn't he?
Yep.
Anonymous Rex says, is it not out yet? No. So 25th of August it comes out. I think that's the plan anyway. Immortan Joe says, if both apps work, I'm all in. So, yeah, I mean, I got some stick for my review of the original 40k app, and I still stand by for, I guess it depends what you wanted from it. Be able to look up references of units and stuff, really good. Being able to put in those codes from the codexes and get it all, I think that works really well as well. I know you prefer Battlescribe from an army building point of view, though, don't you, Jay?
I use Battlescribe a lot from an army building. I haven't used the 40k app, so I couldn't do a fair comparison to be fair to the Warhammer app. I do use the Warhammer app though, because I have registered my codexes in it, and I do like that. It is nice being able to open on my phone and flick through a codex, just the rules part of the codex. I do like it. Yeah. My criticism with the fact that I thought you were getting charged excessively for that sort of content, and I thought they might have been able to do a much more better value for money type way of delivering the codexes to that app.
Which in a way, I guess they have now with Warhammer Plus, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, as time's gone on, I'm actually liking it more and more and more. And I'd like to see it expanded. I'd like to see, and I don't know if it's a missed opportunity, but the Path to Glory and Crusade support in the apps.
Yep.
To me, that's that's the best place for it, and they haven't done anything really with that.
Yeah,
so.
And that surprised me, because that was one of the that's the way around. That was one of the things that was one of the headline things this time last year when the 40k app launched. That the next thing that was going to get added after the army builder was a way of managing your entire crusade through the app, which would be so much easier. It'd be so good, but obviously that's not materialised yet for the 40k one. And the same with Path to Glory, being able to manage all your different territories and stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be so good.
It would.
So, this guy's looking really cool now, Jay. I'm really looking forward to painting these guys. I might have to go on a bit of a Necromunda binge.
Yeah, well, what have you got released? Did you pick up the Fire guys?
The Fire guys? Yes, I did. The Redemptionists. I have got them to build. Yeah. So local club, the Purple Sparkly Unicorns, is on about doing a bit of a Necromunda campaign when restrictions ease and we're able to do more sorts of things like that. I'm definitely up for it. I think we need to. I'll bring a random gang, Jay, and you can get involved.
I have to try. Yeah, I've got some Cawdor actually under my desk that I've not built.
Oh yeah.
I know they're supposed to be having a book, aren't they, at some point? So
Cawdor already got a book, The House of Faith.
Have they already got a book?
The Redemptionists can be part of them. Basically, you can choose whether you want a lawful Cawdor gang, which is your essentially they kind of believe the custodians and stuff.
Yeah.
Or you can add in redemptionists to them, but then if you add enough religious fanatics, you get the tipping point where they're not really the good guys anymore, and they're just, you know, lynch mob nutcases, aren't they? So yeah, and basically that determines whether you're a lawful or an unlawful gang. If you've got more redemptionists in your force than Cawdor, you become unlawful.
Right. Okay. No, well, I'm not a massive fan of the redemptionists, to be fair. The model-wise, I mean.
Yeah.
I much prefer the. Do you remember the Warcry sort of flame-inspired?
Oh yeah.
Band? I really like those guys. I wasn't sold on the redemptionists, but I mean, I know the redemptionists sort of hark back to, you know, this nostalgia. You know, they're reimagined older models, aren't they? Really, so they're quite an iconic look to them. But I just, you know, it's just not for me. But the Cawdor, I don't mind so much. I quite like the Cawdor. I quite like the fact that they're basically running around with mock custodian weapons.
Yeah, exactly. And the good thing is that obviously, you know, some people have been a bit cynical in the past where to compete you need those new kits. Cawdor's not really the case, because that basically turns one gang into two, the redemptionist Cawdor split. You can very easily do a just Cawdor force, which is good. And then they're religious fanatics, but not quite as fanatical as the guys who burn everybody alive. You know, yeah. There's some element of black and white to them. Don't cross that line.
The line you won't cross.
Yeah. And then your kind of your good or evil kind of split, lawful or unlawful, determines which of the these affiliate warbands you can ally with as well. So the Water Guild only lawful ones can work with.
Right.
Obviously, if you've got like arbiters and stuff, they are more on the lawful side. So, and there's stuff in some of the campaigns that can make loyalties change and stuff. It's good if you're doing a campaign to have a mix of different allegiances, I guess. Mixes it up a little bit then.
Yeah, it makes it a bit interesting, doesn't it?
And you know, they've really kind of expanded it, and it's more, I guess, RPG style now, with lots of fun stuff you can do on top of it. So yeah, I really like Necromunda for that. Right, what have we got going down? So Immortan Joe says, one of my issues is that I can put my code in for Space Marine Codex, but I can't access my Space Marine supplement without subscribing. Yes, okay, so that is a biggie. You only get access to all the stuff if you're a subscriber.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a bit of a kick in the teeth if you bought the book. You don't just get a free copy of it, basically.
Yeah.
But I guess that's if a lot of people are subscribing to Warhammer Plus, that's mitigated by that a little bit. But yeah, I do think you should have access to, even if you didn't have access to the list building or something, you just had that stuff, you know, for the books that you've bought, maybe a little bit better. Yeah, so I do agree with you there. Shaken Bones has just finished their Redemptionist, and I put a link in the chat there. Let me have a nosy. Over on Twitch.
Oh, Twitch, yeah. Let me get my up on Twitch.
Oh, they look really, really good. Yeah, they're really fun. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think they probably are next on my list of things to build.
I love the flame at the bottom of the cloak. The flame effect's really cool. And the like stained glass window above his head.
Yeah. Shaken Jones clearly going more on the burn people alive side of the fanatical faith.
Yeah, so
By the sound of things, Shaken Bones has got a lot of Necromunda stuff on the go. Have you found the new edition? Are you an old school player that played back in the 90s? I think it first came out. I mean, the models have come on massively, haven't they, since the old ones?
Yeah.
You know what I'd really love to see? Gorka Morka giving that kind of love.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. At the moment, the sort of specialist games, there is a big, heavy sort of Imperium sort of like spin on a lot of the stuff they release. Adeptus Titanicus, Necromunda. It would be nice to see some Xenos get some love.
I mean, we say that Kill Team is Xenos scenery and new commandos and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah.
In fact, you know what? We you weren't on the podcast last week, were you? We haven't even talked about that preview, have we?
No.
What do you think of that box with all that orc scenery?
That orc scenery is exactly what I wanted to see. That's what's missing from Battlefields, Xenos terrain like that, and the fact that, I mean, orc scenery is pretty, quite ramshackle. You can sort of make anything look a bit orky, but it gives me hope that we might see Tau battlefield, Eldar battlefields, Nid battlefields in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
you get a lot of stuff in that box, don't you? I mean, I think 2 boxes of that you can pad out a 40k battlefield.
Yeah, and they said everything in there is available separately as well.
Yeah.
So it's not as if you're if you miss out on this box that you're penalised in any way. I imagine it'd be cheaper to buy it via that box.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's to be expected, I guess. But yeah, I think I'll be picking up 2. And then it depends on the kits, doesn't it? Because I really like that these kits seem to be very, very modular, specifically for you to do these warbands, which we were talking about a little bit earlier, wasn't it? And it could well be that, actually you buy them specifically for Kill Team, which isn't necessarily a bad thing either.
No.
Right. Where does this go? I feel I have cut out the wrong piece here. That is that there. That is that there. Right.
But I like the preview. I like the Deathcore models. I think they're great. I really like, the traditional sort of blue overcoat is a Deathcore Krieg, but I really like the green colour scheme for the Deathcore as well. I think that looks quite nice.
That looks really, really good. They featured that in a few Warcom articles this week, haven't they?
Yeah, impressed me, that did. The orcs, I was so close to getting carried away ordering all those orcs. The new orc boys, I think, are amazing. The sort of squig the squig mounts. The
Squigosaurs.
Squigosaurs, incredible. Both of those, the special character on the Great White Squig and the regular war boss. The war boss on foot, amazing. And I was talking to Dan in the shop, saying we were both talking about how good some of those models would look in an Iron Jaws army from the Realm of Metal, potentially.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I was thinking that war boss could easily fit into AOS with very minimal conversion.
Yeah, definitely. So it was really, really good. And we've seen some of the rules previews. We know they're going to have an amazing Crusade content. And I was like, oh, yeah, I do want this box, the Beast Snagger box. But I resisted in the end. I didn't get it. I have a feeling when we get the full release later in the year, my will might fail me, and I might end up picking them up because
you've toyed with. I think this is the third time you've nearly started an orc army, isn't it?
It will be, yeah.
You can't have much willpower left.
No, exactly. I mean, the new orc boys are really nice, and the mega armor boss as well, which isn't out with the first wave. He's out later. Really nice too. So yeah, we'll see. So it was a good preview. I think it sort of set us up for the rest of the year, hasn't it, in terms of releases on the 40k side. So I'm not expecting any more surprises this year. Orcs later on in the year. We've got Grey Knights and Thousand Suns out soon.
So the campaign book is Orcs, Guard, and Tyrannid. So, the betting money is on those 3 getting battle tomes. The question is whether they get new kits. Now, we know that the Deathcore Krieg got a plastic kit. The Cadian kit's been refreshed recently. A Krieg Command kit would be nice.
Yeah.
But I think we're at the point now where that kind of stuff's not necessarily going to come out alongside a Codex release.
No.
I think we might be back in the days where you could get a random kit come out one week, which is good. We were on about this not long ago, weren't we?
Well, I think now it's a bit different now. A few years ago, that would be a bit annoying, but now codexes and armies are pretty much complete. We were talking, there are a few armies out there with a few old Finecast kits, like Tau have got a few units which are still Finecast. Eldar are probably one of the worst offenders with all their Aspect Warriors in Finecast. But now, we've got to the point now where you don't really need to add anything else to a Space Marine army. Maybe it's time just to revamp an old sprue. And then that sort of model does mean you don't need to tie that in with an army book, because, for example, Grey Knights could get their book in 18 months' time. They could say, here's a new Grey Knight Terminator kit that we've revamped, like we did with the Chaos Space Marines. And you don't need a new army book. You don't need new rules. It's just a new set of models for you to purchase. So, yeah. The only thing they can really, at this point, is add new factions to the game, like the Beast Snaggers or, on that level. But yeah, it's really exciting, and I wouldn't mind that. Infinity does that, where you just get new units for existing armies, and works quite well, as long as you've got a good range already, like the foundations there, which I think they are now for at least for 40k, definitely.
Yeah, that's always been one of the problems, hasn't it? That some of the ranges had some really old models that it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because they're not going to update those kits because they don't sell, but they're not selling well because they're really old kits.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Eldar really. They are the big. The range is just so old now, and it really shows next to the new stuff that's coming out. And I'm really happy to see Orcs get another wave, but I mean, Orcs they've had 3 waves of kits since Eldar have even had 1.
Well, that's not strictly true. Eldar got the new what were they? Not Striking Scorpions, Howling Banshees.
You're right, they got Howling Banshees, yeah, and a Phoenix
But
Lord.
yeah, and there's 2 kits in the space of time. That Orc have probably got like 20 odd kits now.
Yeah, I mean, and Space Marines, but you'd expect Space Marines to get.
Yeah. I've got a feeling that Eldar will be next for a big, a big update.
I think you're right. I'm very excited about that.
Right, this was a bit fiddly to build, but all my various cables and wires and stabby bits are in place now. So I'll let that dry a minute, and then we're gonna fix these to the back of him, and then he will be done.
Excellent.
That's not too bad. That's taken me an hour to get that guy done. Really nice model though. It's going to be super fragile. I don't know whether I'd leave those separate for painting him. Maybe it might be more stable stuck together though. We'll see. I'll judge it once it's dried. So I'll look to the chat and see if there's anything going down. Shaken Bone says, I have everything Necromunda since 1995, and I'm really happy with the new edition. I only painted 6 new Redemptionists until now. Not mean enough to make my corridor be unlawful yet. You want to. My only criticism with that Redemptionist kit is that they're very monopose. There isn't much in the way of customization unless you convert them. You would need some different heads and repose them a little bit. I'm going full Redemptionist. I'm absolutely going to be unlawful Shaking Bones. Immortan Joe, Eldar desperately need the sisters treatment. Yeah, they do. I don't know though. We were on about this the other week on the podcast though. I don't know if we'd be more likely to see a new sub-faction, so Exodites maybe, before Craftworld Eldar.
Which, wouldn't bother me in the slightest.
It'd be really cool, and it kind of plugs a gap and then become. I guess it's the same as the Beast Snaggers. They could always work that they could work with the Craftworlders, and then eventually become an army in their own right.
Well, I mean, if you look at the Orcs, then, for example, we've got the whole Beast Snagger range coming out, which could be your Eldar Exodites, but then in a few months' time, we're getting new Orc boys, new Eldar Guardians.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen it with the Grave Lords. All those old kits get completely refreshed.
Yep.
Makes it more likely that we might see some new stuff for the Eldar, which is cool. My days, this is a fiddly model. I don't know if Dave's still watching, but he would come out in a cold sweat with this one. So what I'm going to do, I am going to stick this together. I'm also going to stick some of the tendrils and stuff to other parts of the body, just to give it a few more contact points and make it a bit more stable. Because one of the problems of sticking them afterwards is that often it's hard to hide the super glue after you've painted the model. And with them having these
Yes.
big flowing robes and these arms and tendrils of having to stick to it, I think I'm better off just sticking it now, and we'll go with the old adage of if you can't see it, you can't get your brush to it, it's not going to matter, you're not going to see it on the
That's
final
it.
model. I might regret that tomorrow when I start painting it, but I'm committed now. Shaking Bone says maybe there's going to be more weapon upgrade kits from Forge or later. I imagine so, yeah. They've done it for all the other ones. To the point of, do I leave my second box until they're out, or do I kit bash them? I'm thinking the Flagellants for the Empire, or even the Flame Dudes from Warcry,
Warcry.
would be
Yeah.
good contenders for Redemptionist bits. That's what I'm thinking anyway. So that is stuck now.
I'm sitting here highlighting a Stormballer. These guys have all got Stormballers. It's only just occurred to me they've all got Stormballers. That's some serious firepower. They might just be able to shoot Be'lakor off the board.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's how you want to deal with him. All the Stormbolters in the world. Right.
I wonder if the Grey Knights have 2 wounds now. I can't remember. I don't know if they get the 2 wounds for their Power Armor Marines. I suspect they will.
I imagine they will. I think the only reason Chaos haven't yet is because they haven't had a new book. For all the loyalists, I imagine will be 2 wounds. We might see some bigger changes as well, Like, Orcs are now toughness 5, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Crazy. So, I think you'll see some really cool bespoke psychic rules for them.
Yeah, they had the tides, didn't they, in the last Psychic Awakening, which was like you could move through 4 different tides, which affected different abilities in your army, and that you had a psychic power that you could cast to flip between them and change it. So I think one of them sort of improved your shooting, one improved your combat, one improved your defenses, things like that. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what their mechanic is. I'm really interested to see what their crusade is.
Yeah, I'm interested to see their crusade.
Like,
you could have stuff where they maybe learn additional psychic powers or demonic lore. Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe, like the some kind of mechanic, like Hunting the Fallen for the Dark Angels, where it interacts with the Demon Codex.
Oh, yeah, that'd be ace, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I mean, we'd absolutely have to do that as a campaign, Jay. Just saying.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to some Demon versus Grey Knight action on the stream. Yeah, that's going to be fun. It's going to be very thematic. I could just like the idea of like a load of Grey Knights seriously outnumbered, but fighting off hordes of demons. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking like something from the 300.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my word, this has got to be the fiddliest kit I've built for a long time. It looks really cool, but oh man, is it fiddly.
Did you say have you built Malagurst yet?
Yeah, I built him.
He was alright to build.
Oh, he was absolutely fine to build. So the bit where he, I remember we originally saw it and said that seems a bit fragile. The bit where he's holding the banner.
Yeah.
It's sculpted into the shoulder guard, so it's a nice like structural point to the model. Yeah. And then the kind of once I've stuck this, I'll get it out. The actual it doesn't look right. Let's try that. Right, let's hold that there. Well, this is drying. We'll get Malagurst and just show you.
I've nearly finished Mortis.
You nearly finished Mortis?
Yeah, I've got about an hour left. Oh man, incredible book, incredible.
So if I switch to my camera, you should be able to see that. It might be a couple of minutes behind on your feed, Jay.
In a second.
The kind of hand holding the ring that holds the rest of the standard locks directly into the shoulder.
Oh yeah.
And then the actual pole going down from there is a separate piece that goes into it. So the kind of load bearing bits here and this is just a separate bit that goes in. So it's quite an
I-
ingenious way of doing it, because we'd written it off as...
I like the bolter. That weapon looks very
The
nice.
bolter's really nice, yeah.
Is
Bolter's
that
really
is
cool.
that is that their coin hanging over the bolter, Joe?
Yeah, there's a few. I cannot say. There's a few of them strewn over the model,
Yeah.
which is a nice touch.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, really, really nice model. I've left the head separate just because it'll be
Yeah.
easier to paint him without that on. But yeah, really, really happy with that model. I'm excited to see what we get for the Horus Heresy in the next few months.
Yeah. I put my Blood Angels down. I got a bit burnt out painting them. I got through quite a lot. Not as many as you did with your Sons of Horus, but I painted 2 Dreadnoughts, a Praetor, and 10 Angels Tears, and then I just got a bit burnt out, and I can't remember what I picked up instead. I think I started on my Lumineth at that point. But yeah, I think I'd really get back into it and pick them up again, so we could have some games with the new edition when it comes out.
Yeah, that sounds really fun to me. So here is this fella all built. Those tendrily bits are so fiddly to do, but he looks really cool. Really happy with how he's turned out. So we'll stick him to a base. I don't know what base to put him on.
What kind of colour scheme are you thinking for the box art?
Yeah, we're gonna go box art. So yeah, the dark blues for the guys. The Big Daddy, for want of a better word, I might do in a different scheme. I might go for about a Bioshock inspired theme for him. Yeah, let's use this base. Now, normally when I'm building Necromunda models, I'll stick him to a cork and paint him on there, but there's not actually any kind of details under his cloak to get into. His cloak's kind of flush with the base, so I may as well stick him directly onto there. It'll be just as easy to get to, or will it? Let's have a look. Yeah, it'll be no harder being stuck to the base than he will be separate. Obviously, you've got like legs and robes and stuff normally. It's a bit easier to keep them separate, paint the base separately, and then stick him to it later on. But for this guy, I think he's going to be absolutely fine. So we'll stick him on.
Yeah, talking of bases, I'm not sure what bases to do on my Grey Knights actually. I think I might do them the same as I base my Ultramarines, the like desert sort of theme.
Oh yeah, I like that. And I don't know if you found it, but I've recently tended to like tie the base in together for factions.
Yeah.
Because then if you do ever do a big, ridiculous apocalypse game, you can...
They look pretty good all together then, yeah.
Yeah. So what I've done, I put a dab of glue each side of his robe and just used it as a separate contact point on these arms, because then that just gives it a few more places where it's fixed in place, and then they shouldn't be flopping around or, you know, a bit fragile when I'm painting it. Cool. So that's one of the 3 models down. In Morton Joseph, that Big Daddy would look badass with a very industrial look with hazard stripes and all. So have we got them to hand? I have got a Necromunda tray here. Let's have a look what we've got in here. The box of delights. So my Ogrins, I might go for something similar.
Oh yeah, your slave ones, yeah.
So yeah, the slave Ogrins, lots of yellows. I really like those actually. I'm not.
Yeah,
these are another lockdown victim, aren't they? I was really happy. I think these were on one of the early painting streams I did these. But yeah, really, really like them. So I could go something similar with lots of yellows, and yeah, hazard markings would look good. I have a Water Guild person in here somewhere. That guy there. Let me switch over to the other camera. So that's one of the Water Guilders, Jay. And again,
I'm just still looking at your slave Ogre.
Blues and kind of like burnished metals.
Let's have a look. It's taking a few seconds to catch up. Here he comes.
So yeah,
Oh yeah.
That kind of scheme for him, that'll work.
That guy just reminds me of the Fifth Element. Do you know the guy who's trying to rob the apartment and he's got the thing on it,
Yeah.
the impressive hat.
And the Slopper. Oh, I love these Necromunda models so much. Just because I love the models, I bought a load of the Forge World Necromunda kits.
You do have quite a good collection of, because you were I don't. You probably can still do it, actually, can't you? A bounty hunter gang, weren't you? With
Yeah,
a
you
different
can. You
sort.
can absolutely still do Bounty Hunter Gang.
Yeah.
I imagine they might get a new book, and it's quite freeform. You kind of create the profiles, and it points it based on, what you've got. So yeah, I've got quite a selection of gangs now, which is fun. So I think we are going to do a bit of a Necromunda campaign here. I know a friend of the show, Andy, wants to get involved. Dave's desperate to paint his Orlocks. So you could always use one of my gangs while you're waiting to paint your corridor, maybe.
I mean, that's one of the things that's put me off is I've got a bit of a painting queue at the moment. Like I say, I've got the Blood Angels I want to be doing when Heresy hits later in the year, potentially. I've got to finish my Lumineth for September. I'm working on the Grey Knights now. I've got my sisters that are half painted here next to me. I haven't really got any time in the schedule for a Necromunda gang, but I could always use one of yours, like you say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's no problem at all. Right, we've got, and this is cryptic. At the top here, we've got pieces 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then point 11, which is smashed. I assume these are all exactly the same fitting. Maybe it's based on where they are in the sprue. They look... Oh, no, they are. They are... So it looks like these specific bottles go into specific locations on them, and I need to use this as a guide to know which is which. Awesome. Yeah, okay, cool. I just got visions of the Forge World Keeper of Secrets, which had a similar thing with all the tiny little spines. Luckily, you got some extra sprues of them because inevitably you'd lose half of them pinging around the room when you're building it. This looks like it's similar, so I may have to pay attention on this guy. You know what? I'm going to build the Siphonite first, the Siphonite, because that one requires some attention and making sure I've got the right bits, which is maybe not the ideal one to do on here. So let's get the bits for that one first, which is model number C. I think it's got a lot less bits than the other two. This one should be a fairly simple one to build. Some more fiddly bits, but especially that spearhead.
Getting to the end of the edge highlighting on the Stormbolters here. For an old kit, you can get quite a range of sort of dynamic poses with these guys.
Yeah, I think they're still a decent kit.
Yeah, they are. I've enjoyed building them. I've enjoyed painting them. It's just a scale that sort of gives me my reservations, but I think I'm over that now. I do, and they are looking quite nice.
Like you say, it's all relative. So as an army, the scale will be fine. It's just if you put them alongside Primaris Marines, Chaos Space Marines don't have that problem because they scaled them up with the recent models that they did.
Yeah.
Which I guess is that's it, isn't it? I guess if Games Workshop were going to redo the Grey Knights, they'd have to redo the entire range.
They would, yeah. But then the Grey Knights, they only have 2 boxes of infantry, your paladins and your strike squads. That's it. That builds your whole army. So they've only got 2 boxes to refresh potentially.
But I suppose the question would be: would they make more of releasing a special character or a box that's replacing the existing one? People with an army aren't probably going to buy. They're not going to rebuy their entire army with the slightly bigger models. And would it actually put them off adding a unit to their army because it's out of scale with the others?
This is true, yeah.
So it's a bit of a catch-22 where the orcs and stuff, it doesn't really matter, I guess.
No, because they're all various sizes anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, where with like a uniform army like that. And I wonder if that's maybe why they haven't.
Yeah, I know the Blood Angels with their Sanguinary Guard, Space Wolves with their Wolf Guard.
Yeah, I think stuff like that, they'd be more likely to create a new unit, a Primaris equivalent.
Yeah.
You never know. We might surprise us when we get a new Primaris unit for the Grey Knights. Lore-wise, would they be in the Primaris project?
I don't know. Well, lore-wise, they were obviously, spoilers alert here, but in the which book was it, Matt? Where the Sigillite took the Knights Errant, didn't he? Was it the 8 or 9 Knights Errant, and Loken sort of stayed behind. It was in the Last Wall or whatever it was, the Saturnine.
Saturnine.
Yeah, because Loken stayed, didn't he? And he went to fight Abaddon underneath the wall, Saturnine wall. But the other Space Marines, and there was the Thousand Sun. Is it Janus? He's the Supreme Grand Master of the Grey Knights. There was a World Eater, I believe, a Space Wolf. Tylos Rubio, who became, I can't remember what his name was now, the librarian who took And so they all go, don't they, during their 2 Titan. And then it's been a while since I've read a Grey Knight Codex, but I think what happened was the Sigilite the Emperor sort of realised that no matter what the outcome of the war with Horus was, that the mankind would need the Grey Knights. They were like his last gift to mankind, basically, to protect them from what was coming. So they made all these preparations in Titan, and it was actually the Emperor's gene seed that goes into a Grey Knight, not just not a Primarch's gene seed. And the Sigilite took the Knights Errant, the Space Marines there, and then cast some sort of psychic spell over the moon, and sort of tossed it into the warp, and then they reappeared because it was sometime during the Scouring, I believe, when the what was the name of the event where Guilliman chopped up all of the chapters?
Oh, I can't remember.
Legions. The second founding, wasn't it? That was it. The second founding, and they came back at that point and were sort of like sneakily added to the list of chapters, the 666 chapter, if I remember rightly. So no one really knew who they were, or they just thought they were a second founding chapter. But there's all this secrecy around them. But then I don't know when did Guilliman send? Because Guilliman must have known about the Grey Knights. I can't imagine they were kept secret from Guilliman at that point in time, but I don't know. But when did Guilliman send Call off? Quite early on in the timeline, didn't he? On the Primaris project, before he died.
Now, Morton Joe's pointed out something there. Lore-wise, they would not get Primaris Marines because Core wouldn't have access to the Emperor's gene seed.
Ah, right. Yeah, there you go then. Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean, Gulliman's had some questions about Call anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he'd authorise that. Gulliman probably wouldn't have authority for that anyway.
No, that was it. I mean, it was the Emperor's sort of design, isn't it? So, and Guilliman, the Primaris are really Guilliman's design, aren't they? So,
yeah.
And I guess that sort of makes sense. We've seen Castell and Crow, he's not Primarisized, so like we have seen with other Space Marine characters that have gone across the Rubicon. Castell and Crow obviously hasn't crossed the Rubicon, so
yeah. You know what? I don't mind that. I don't mind that from a model point of view, because like we said earlier, with the entire army being that scale, it works without having to redo everything. Somebody, I forget who said in the chat. Oh, yeah, Morton Joe. If you were to add a new Grey Knights unit, what would you add?
New Grey Knights unit, what would you add? Well, let's have a look. I'm not a massive fan of the tanks, and like they added the Storm Raven, I think, and some of the flyers, and rhinos and things. But to me, Grey Knights have always been like an elite sort of small army tasked with certain missions. The Nemesis Dreadnought I really like as a concept. Maybe some kind of new Dreadnought. Like a bit like the Custodian Telemon. Like a super heavy Dreadnought.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
To fight your Greater Demons, to fight your Bellicors, maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's it. The Dread Knight was the size it was to go toe-to-toe with the Greater Demon. The Greater Demon kits are a bit bigger now, aren't they?
Well, we've got Demon Primarchs now, and I don't know if the Grey Knights have got anything in their thingy to fight a Demon Primarch.
Yeah. Dave is back. How goes the Warhammer session? The Warhammer session goes good. I have just built a model that may give you nightmares, Dave. All the spindly little arms and stuff on this. It is a fiddly one. Took about an hour to build him, but he looks really cool. And now we're building the Syphonite, which is this guy here. I was going to start building the Big Daddy, but there's some specific parts I need to go in certain places. I need full attention to do that one, I think. So we'll do that one after the stream, maybe. Steve Harbour wants to see Grey Knights on bikes. That'd be cool.
Yeah, Grey Knights on bikes would be nice. Yeah. Maybe some kind of new kind of hero. I mean, they've got I think you've got Brotherhood Champions and Brother Captains, and then you've got your characters. But maybe I know Space Marines now have got the Judiciars, or the Judicars. So maybe something like that, like some sort of Emperor's Champion type. I think they do have a Brotherhood Champion, to be fair, though.
Speaking of Emperor's Champion, that's a good segue. What do you think of the teaser at the end of the preview with?
Amazing. This is great. I mean, this is what we were talking about a second before, where existing units just get a refresh. So the Black Templars have got some amazing units already, but they're really old kits. Sword Brethren, the Neophytes. They don't use librarians because they abhor the witch. They actually pioneered the Land Raider Crusader, I believe, with the Hurricane Bolters on the side.
It originally was a plastic metal combi kit, wasn't it?
Yeah. So the Emperor's Children, the actual character itself. So Helbrecht. So you don't need to add anything new to the Black Templars. You just need to give a facelift to the stuff they've already got, which is like iconic Space Marine units. If we get a plastic box of Black Templar Storm Brethren, then I'm building a Black Templars army.
Yeah. I mean, they would be really cool, wouldn't they?
That really surprised. I was not expecting to see Black Templars, but they have beef with the Orcs. They've always had beef with the Orcs. So, I mean,
everyone's got beef with the Orcs.
Yeah, I mean, we should have expected them, really. I mean, it'll be cool. But what sort of interests me a little bit here is that there's a sort of small window opportunity here to see the return of a Primarch with the Black Templars. Now, obviously Dawn and the Imperial Fists, but I don't know. Maybe he comes back as some sort of Crusader. Yeah,
I see. I've always thought it's unlikely we'll see another Loyalist Primarch, just because the storyline is, it's grim and dark and we're losing and all the bad guys are out to get us, and it kind of takes away from that if you can pop out a new Primarch to save the day.
Still good though.
It would be cool. Shaking Bone says, don't forget about Contrast Black Templar. Great for painting black. Yeah, well, Dave's a big fan of Black Templar paint for painting black.
Yep.
Personally, I'd rather start off with black, and so Gazgul, for example, started with Instar Black as a base because that's really, really good black, and then worked up through dry brushes of Corvus Black, and then some of the greys I forget off the top of my head. Corvus Black, Dawnstone, Administratum Grey, up to I think there's a very edge highlight of Administratum Grey, something really light, and did it that way. And it was all dry brushing really. That worked really well, and then kind of watered down Rhinox Hide into the recesses.
Yeah, that's the thing that ties together. So dry brushing on its own, I think, it's good. It's all right, but you take it to that extra level by adding that Rhinox hide into the recesses. And I think dry brushing works really well on something like Gazgul because the armor panels are not like straight, flat machine panels, are they? Like beaten metal, isn't it?
I think it'd be tougher to do that on a Space Marine. On the Orcs, because like you say, the worn panels, it works really well.
But you have to work it out, and I really think when you've added that Rhinox shade, that's really taking it to another level. That's really, really good.
Cheers. I can't take all the credit. I've stolen this scheme from Duncan Rhodes.
Well,
the Prince of Paints. But yeah, it's a really good way of painting black. I highly recommend it. I'm going to say, and I feel a bit bad that we've not subscribed earlier. We recently joined his site, and I'm going to say I'm really impressed with the videos.
Yeah, they are good. I mean, it's just like what he used to do on Warhammer TV. It's that sort of how he walks you through the different stages. Explains it quite easy. Yeah, they have been good. I enjoyed the Morven Val one, and there's a really cool Imperial Fist one that I've been watching as well, which is really, really nice how he talks you through that.
Yeah, now obviously it is a subscription service, which not everyone will agree with, and I think he does do a few of them free, doesn't he, on his YouTube channel?
You do get some free, but I think if you're into your painting and you want to improve, that's how you learn. There's a lot of free YouTube videos, but if you want to sort of pay a little bit and get access to tips, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. He's providing a good service, I think. It's not for everyone. If you don't want to pay, you don't have to pay, but it's an option.
And he is an excellent painter.
He's a good painter, but they're not like heavy metal paint schemes, are they? That they're achievable for like mere mortals like
Yeah,
us.
I'd argue that anybody watching this now could replicate them following it, and it's just a case of taking your time and following the guide, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any reason why anybody watching this show now wouldn't be able to finish a model to that standard. It might take you a month of painting, but if you follow that guide, you will pick it up, which is really good. It makes it, like you said, it makes it achievable for mere mortals, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually the purity seals that I'm painting now. I always used to paint my. How do you paint your purity seals, Matt?
Purity seals would be Screamer Pink, is it? Screamer Pink. Give it a normal wash and then highlight with Pink Horror.
Yep. And what about the actual scroll itself?
Oh, the actual scroll. I'd go with something like Xandri Dust up through Screaming Scully Shabdy, something like that.
Yep, that's exactly how I used to paint my purity scrolls. I Screamer Pink, Null Noil, with I used to use Screamer Pink again over the top of that actually, rather than an extra layer. And then the purity seals, Xandri Dust, Agrax Earthshade, Xandri Dust again, Ushabti Bone, and Screaming Skull at the end. Used to do all my scrolls like that. On Duncan's video, he uses a different method for painting his purity seals and scrolls. So he uses Mephiston Red on the wax, Null Noil. Never used to shade Mephiston Red with Null Noil, but it looks really good on the purity seals. And then Evil Sun Scarlet as a edge highlight, and it looks really, really nice on the purity seals now. And you can go one step further with Fire Dragon Bright, I think it is, but I'm going to save that for my characters rather than the infantry.
Yeah.
And then the actual scroll itself, Rakarth Flesh.
Oh.
Rakarth Flesh, it's a bit more of a neutral, sort of papery sort of colour. It's nice. Agrax Earthshade over the top of that, then Rakarth Flesh again, and then Pallid Witch Flesh as an edge highlight.
You know what? There was a lot of Pallid Witch Flesh as an edge highlight on Gazgul as well.
So
I would never thought of using it myself.
No, and that's it. So I mean, that's straight away there. I've got a new way of, and I really like how they've turned out. I'm going to be painting all my purity seals like that now.
Yeah, what I might do is transcribe some of these into a little notepad, so I've got a handy paint list of different colour schemes. Shaken Bone says, I now use Skeleton Bone and edge highlight with White Scarf for my purity seal. Yeah, that works. Skeleton Horde.
Oh, the contrast. Yeah.
So Skeleton Horde's really good. I did my Gravelord skeletons with that. I used the new Morghast Bone as a base rather than. I find with contrast the I forget what they're called. The two sprays.
Wraithbone and Gracia.
I find for some stuff you get a bit of a harsh colour, and in my experiments with contrast, I've used like a base colour and then put contrast over that, just so you haven't got that stark white. And I go with the Morghast Bone, which is a new colour they added with the Bone Reapers, I believe. It's very similar to Xandri Dust, and if you haven't got Morghast, you could probably use Xandri Dust. And then Skeleton Horde over that, and then highlight up with the usual colours. Again, you could probably go the Pallid Witch Flesh way for a more stark white. In fact, on these, on Gazgul, so you see the tusks, that is Pallid Witch Flesh is the brightest colour towards the very bottom of the tusk, and again is the extreme highlights on the skull. It's more of a bleached kind of bone colour, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. But I do like it. It's a bit, like you say, it's almost got like a grey sort of tone to it rather than the warmer Xandri Dust Ushabti Bone.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes there's like a bit more of a yellow tone to them sometimes if you're not careful. And
yeah, they can. So yeah, I definitely contrast are so good for basically giving you a shade and a highlight in one go.
I use a lot of contrast on the Lumineth actually. I'm not using any on the Grey Knights yet, but I do use a lot on the Lumineth.
Yeah, cool. I've used quite a bit on my undead. No contrast on Gazgul off the top of my head. I really like the skin tone is really, really nice, but boy does it take a long time to do. and essentially it's highlighting up a gradient. You build it up in layers to those extreme ones. On Gazgul, I don't mind doing that. If I'm painting like 100 Orc boys, no
Yeah.
chance. So I might have an experiment with the new green that they brought out for the Cruel Boys,
Oh
with a
yeah.
contrast over it and then a highlight colour of Carrick Stone or something. Because the extreme highlight on Gazgul isn't actually a green. It was Carrick or Pallid Witchflesh or something like that, and then a green glaze over it.
Oh yeah. Cool.
So I can cut out a load of the steps of slowly building up those highlights. Start with the new green, do a orc flesh or something contrast, I think it's called, and then highlight that with an edge highlight and then a green glaze over that. I haven't tried it yet, but that's what I'm thinking for the bulk of the boys. Characters, I'll probably do the same scheme as Gazgul, and then that way you should end up with the characters looking lighter but with more highlights on them, and the boys looking a bit more muted. See how that works. I think variation of skin tone works for orcs anyway.
Yeah, you can get away with that.
So that's a little experiment. I'll try that out. Gretchen. So Mikari, I've started off with the same colours as Gazgul, but not nearly as highlighted as he is. I'm thinking of putting some pinks and reds and stuff for the nose and the lips. Old school 90s. Have you seen any Louise Sugden stuff? She does that. Lots of...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't know how to describe it. It's basically giving a bit of colour to the flesh, isn't it? With some reds and pinks and stuff.
Always makes me feel like the Gretchen have got colds.
Yeah. I did the same on my Mega Gargants. They've got red noses and lips. Makes them look a bit uncouth and angry, I guess. Shaking Bo says, guys, it's been great painting with you. Wish I could chat and don't have to pick up my phone again and again. Well, thanks for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed it. Like we say, we do battle reports every Saturday lunchtime-ish, and stream on a Sunday evening. When we have got capacity, we'll always try and throw in another stream where we can, but obviously it's only the weekend ones we can commit to. But yeah, if you've enjoyed it, tune in next time and let us know on Twitter if there's anything you'd like to see us paint or cover or chat about, and any games you'd like to see us do as well. You know, if people have got requests in a game that we want to play, we can definitely cover that on the show as well. Steve Harbour as well. Got to go, guys. Cheers for the stream. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope
bye.
you've enjoyed it today. So Dave says he's the same for the heavy use of contrast, magic stuff, and the new brushes from Games Workshop. Those brushes are brilliant. I'm so like impressed with those brushes. Now, a few of mine, I mean, I have hammered some of these brushes. I've done the Word Bearers and Gazgul with them, and a few of them are starting to kind of curl at the end.
Yeah, I did see a trick for straightening them out, but I can't remember what it was. There is a method for straightening them out.
So Garthy, who's featured in many White Dwarfs and is a bit of a contributor for Warcom, posted that on Facebook.
Right.
If you boil a kettle, you know, you want to have a brew while you're hobbying anyway. The steam from that will cause them to straighten.
Right,
so yeah, boil some water, put it over it, same as you would do, say if you were trying to bend resin or something.
Yeah.
Put them over it, and the steam will, and then you reshape it, and then it will keep its point. I haven't tried it myself yet, but
no, I'll try that. Yeah.
Shaking Bones says, "Okay, sorry, go on. No, you gone."
I was just going to say, yeah, mine are doing okay at the moment. I actually picked up a different one which I didn't have before, a medium base, which has been fantastic for laying down the base colours on these Grey Knights.
Yeah, I mean, I guess ultimately brushes are disposable, and if it's what, £4 for one of those brushes, and I've managed to do a Word Bearer's Army and Gazgul, it's not the end of the world if I pick up another brush.
No.
You know, rather than messing around with re-straightening it. And, you know, brushes can always live on as dry brushes or brushes to do the sand on bases and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're very impressed. And the thing is, it's a third of the price of a, you know, Winsor & Newton brush, for example, which I always used to use. And arguably, probably get the similar life for the cost. You know, if I go through 3 brushes in the same time I'd go through one Winsor and Newton brush, then
Still,
it's not say I've not saved any money by getting the expensive brush, and arguably I can pick it up like on my lunch break or wandering
much
back
more
from work.
convenient. Yeah.
So yeah, I've been more impressed than I thought I'd be with them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still using my Army Painter Masterclass brush is the one I use for my edge highlights and most of my detail work. I'll continue with that, but I used to use the rest of the Army Painter range for everything else. No, not anymore. It'll be those synthetic Games Workshop brushes for everything else now, and it'll just be the one Army Painter Masterclass brush I need for my detail.
Yeah, and this is it for the bulk of your base work and most of your highlights. I mean, I've got an Artist Opus 00 and a treble O somewhere that I'll use for painting eyes, doing any of your fire detailing, freehand stuff. I would use that over the Games Workshop one, but the thing is, this is only being used for those, so the brush isn't getting hammered. So this brush should last years. It's the brushes that you're doing all your base coats with, whether it's a cheap brush or an expensive brush, just through wear and tear, it's gonna curl. It's gonna not have a point eventually. So may as well just go for the cheap one and replace it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been super impressed, which I didn't think I would be, to be honest.
No,
I nearly didn't buy any until I saw some good reviews online.
Yeah, I exceeded my expectations, definitely.
How about you guys in the chat? Have you used any of the new Games Workshop brushes? What did you think? Would you recommend them? If you don't like them, what brushes do you use? I mean, brushes are a very personal thing anyway, I think... I've just missed a bit there. I don't think... I think some people sometimes think that if you buy an expensive brush, you'll automatically be an amazing painter. It's not the case. I'd argue that by having a brush that keeps a point, it's easier to do certain things, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you're trying to paint with a knackered brush, it's going to take you twice as long, and you're not going to get the same results. So as soon as a brush starts losing its point, just bin it. Get a new one. You can restore them with things like Instar brush cleaner is really, really good. I wouldn't use that for your synthetic brushes though, because obviously the synthetic brushes are going to be made out of something that's possibly going to get corroded by the actual cleaning materials in them. And yeah, if a synthetic brush is looking a bit ropey, it's £4, bin it, get a new one. To be honest, I think you're gonna end up frustrating yourself trying to paint with a brush with a bent tip or the bristles aren't straight or something. So yeah, I guess you've probably tried a few different brands over the years.
Yeah, I've tried the Opus. What are they called? Opus.
Artist Opus.
That's it. Yeah, I've tried them, but I've gone back to Army Painter.
See, I've never tried Army Painter brushes.
Yeah, I've always used Army Painter, and every now and then you'll get a good deal where you get a load of them in a box. The Army Painter Masterclass is basically my go-to brush for pretty much everything. And they last quite a long time as well. And like I said, I'm using it at the moment here for all this detail work. But they're not too expensive. I think you can get a pack of about for £35. I've seen £30 in offers every now and then. Pick them up and you get about 12 or so brushes in it.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. But I think this brush on its own is about £10.
Yeah.
But this will be the only brush I buy outside of the synthetic brushes now. So I have got a couple of the Army Painter, like they've got like an Insane Details, Psycho detail brush, which you can use for eyes and things like that, which I keep, but they last a lifetime because how many eyes do you paint on a model?
Yeah,
not many.
Exactly. I guess what we're saying with the Winsor and Newton ones, like similar price, £10. a punch. They are going to wear down. You've probably gone through a few of those army painted ones over a while,
over the
regular ones that
years.
you use.
Yeah, tons. Yeah.
So it's like if you can get the same, a third of the life out of a brush with a third of the price, then, and it's easier to get hold of, and you can just whack it in your Games Workshop order.
Yeah.
I'll be using them, but yeah, there's still a use for like the sable brushes, definitely for detail. I wouldn't try and do any like the eyes on Gazgul. I wouldn't try to do them with even the small synthetic Games Workshop one, just because you haven't got quite the control as you have on the natural brushes. One thing that I have seen, I think maybe catches some new painters out is like Gazgul. I used a big brush to paint most of it. You don't need to be there with a little brush painting him. No. Just whack on all the base colours with a big old brush. You're going to be going over stuff anyway. Don't worry about getting everything super neat the first time. Get the majority colour down all over, and then use your smaller brush when you go in with, like on this guy here. The trousers are brown, but majority the rest of it's black. So just get a big old brush, whack black all over it. It'll take 5 minutes, and then spend your time doing the brown ones. If you're using contrast, I'd argue it's quicker to just whack it all over it, and then pick out with Wraithbone the bits that you want to go over with a different colour. Will be quicker than taking your time trying to not touch the other areas.
Yeah.
Obviously, once your base colours are down, then you're going to have to spend some more time, but that's one way to get through things a little bit quicker. Otherwise, yeah, you lose your mind sometimes on some models trying to.
Well, you just
be super
constantly going back and touching up and going back and touching up. So yeah, it's just be smart, isn't it, with the way you approach the model?
Yeah, and that's a good thing with Duncan's video. It gives you the right, a good
Shortcut,
sequence of colours to do. And sometimes, some of them. Sometimes it's not something that you think of yourself. Like your example there, both of us use the same colour scheme for purity seals, probably because we've seen it in an old GW video, and
that's
we've stuck with it's probably one of Duncan's videos, to be fair. And it only takes somebody to figure out a new way of doing it and go, actually, yeah, that's a really good way.
Yeah, well, let's see if I got. Where is she? This was the first one I did it on.
Oh, well, let me switch to your camera. There you go.
So I've not actually added the. You can see the one on the heavy bolter there. I've not actually added the scroll work to it yet, but I just prefer I just prefer the colour. It's just a bit more neutral, sort of muted, rather than the warm bone colour you get from Sandry Dust and Shabby Bone.
Yeah, and you know what? On stuff where you've got lots of, maybe the Deathwing or something, you've got some variance in the colour then as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, she looks really good. Awesome. So what's everyone in the chat up to? Are we painting anything? Are we working on anything today? Have we played any games of Warhammer this weekend? It's been a bit warm to play Warhammer, to be honest, but some of you might have done so. In fact, can you believe it is 10 to 9 already? Time flies when you're having fun.
It does. I'm actually quite pleased with my progress. I've really got only the swords to do now, and the red shoulder pad. Now I've left that shoulder pad till the end because the Grey Knights sort of have all their unique heraldry on each of the shoulder pads.
Oh yeah, cool.
So every model's sort of like an individual in that regard. So I wanted to sort of leave them to the end so I can sort of plan it across the 10 models. But the rest of the model is actually there, and obviously the swords as well. I'm thinking to build and paint all of the army and then do all of the swords across all of the models at the same time, because that sort of blend in, it's a bit sort of experimental and you sort of have to look at what you're doing and adjust it if it's not quite right.
Yeah, that sounds like
I figured if you're doing it across the whole army at the same time, you should hopefully get a bit more of a consistent end result. I mean, alternatively, I could just do silver with some contrast over it. That might be a bit quicker.
Yeah, I mean, silver with contrast over it is super quick to do. That's essentially how I do my word bearers.
Yeah. But I think the power weapons are such a sort of... Your eye's really drawn to them on the Grey Knights model, I think, because the rest of the model is so sort of muted. Yeah. So I do want to do a good job. It's like a focal point, really, for the... Oh, saying that, I've got to do the heads as well. I've left the heads off these guys yet, so we've got to do the heads.
Okay. Immortan Joe is currently finalising a list of Grey Knights for a Barney on Monday. Shaky Bones hasn't played 40k forever. A bit sad for my 5 armies, but time is limited and prefer Necromunda, at least for now. Yeah, that's it. It's, time is limited, and you may as well play what you enjoy, and part of that enjoyment is the models, isn't it? Necromunda's got some ace models. If you enjoy painting and building them, then absolutely focus on Necromunda. If it didn't have to work, I'd be constantly painting. But unfortunately, we've got limited time, haven't we?
Yeah.
So yeah. Right. Well, I've nearly finished 2 models. I've got a bit of spines to put on the back of him, which should be able to get done by the end of the stream. And then just the Big Daddy to build. But like I say, he looks a bit more complicated to build. So I want to make sure I do him justice. So don't want to be ruining that one. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised it's taken me 2 hours to build 2 models, to be honest. But hey, I enjoy the building process. Some people really don't like building. Do you like building, Jay?
Generally, yes, I do like building. It depends. Building the Lumineth Dawnbreakers was a horrible experience.
Was it?
The amount, considering their new models, the amount of mold lines on those models, it was honestly they shouldn't have passed quality checking in my opinion. For you pay a premium for games virtual models; they're the best in class, really. The Dawnbreakers, the Lumineth Dawnbreakers, Dawn Riders, whatever they're called. They're an awful kit to build. So much cleaning up work to do. Really, really not enjoyable to build at all. The Grey Knights, I love putting these guys together. I love putting them together, finding the right pose for them, making them all look dynamic and individual. Really, it's an enjoyable part of the hobby building these guys. I think it depends on what model you're building.
I mean, I have built some absolute dogs of kits. I'm not going to lie. Metal Nobbler Scrap Launcher, if anyone's ever built one of them. I mean, it's not been in production for about 20 years.
Oh, for the ogres.
For the ogres, that is the worst model I built.
Yeah.
Absolutely the worst model I built. It was horrible to build. Recent kits that I didn't enjoy. Some of the Warcry kits were a bit finicky.
Yes, they were. Yeah, I built the Corvus guys, and they were pretty hard to build.
Yeah. So I mean,
I think as well, it depends if you've got a mountain of plastic in front of you to build as well. Like I did with my Lumineth, I bought every single box, multiples of them when they first come out, and you've just got that mountain of plastic to get through. It can be a bit laborious doing that as well. Whereas if you're just buying an odd model, it's not so bad.
That's it. I mean, we tend to buy models in volume, don't we? I guess most normal people would maybe buy a kit, build it, paint it, and then buy the next one. I don't think we've ever done that, Jay.
Nope.
So yeah. Well, as we get into the end of the stream, let's have a bit of a recap on what we've done. I'll start with my bits. So I have built the Syphonite and the Master Nautican of the Water Guild, and they are really, really cool models. Really, really fiddly models. Take your time, but they look so good.
Yeah, they are nice.
The instructions are not the most clear on this guy. I think just because he's got so many intricate, fiddly, spindly bits, dry fit and double check. Because in the process of dry fitting, you'll find out that something clearly isn't fitting the right way. I think there's an error in the instruction manual where it's got, I mentioned earlier with the backpack, and it looks like it's a shot from the back of the model, but it isn't. It's just kind of ghosted out the front of it. So just bear that in mind. Keep checking the front of the manual, because that guy was a bit of a nightmare to build, to be honest. This guy went together really nicely as well. Again, that head of the staff, you've got to clean out all the bit of shims of resin from there. So that's a bit of a fiddly one, but again, really nice model. So yeah, really impressed with them. Really looking forward to painting them up and adding to my Necromunda force. Jay, should we have a look at? Ooh, I see Grey Knights.
Can you see them? Is that the camera okay on those guys?
Yeah, they're at the very top of the screen. I don't know if you can pan up a little bit.
Like this.
Yeah, there we go. We can see them now. That's cool.
Okay. So they're getting there. This is going to be a Purify squad, we've decided on the stream. So what I've managed to do on the stream today is all of the purity seals. Got them based, shaded, and highlighted. The storm bolters, so painting the black casing around the storm bolter and highlighting that. And then there's on the shoulder pads, you can spot like the little books, like the chapter badge, painting them as well. So really now all that's left on these guys is this blank shoulder pad on this side and the sword. Oh, and also I've got to do something about these gun barrels. Normally I don't drill out gun barrels, but these are stone bolters and they look a bit odd because it's obviously two barrels in one.
Yeah.
So I think I am going to drill them out.
Have you got a drill?
I have, yes.
Yeah, I think I'm a lot of people make a bit of a hoo-ha about drill barrels, and I'm the same. I tend not to do it where I can get away with it.
Yeah, and that's the same. I don't generally, but I think with these guys, I don't know what you think. That it's just a bit big because it's two barrels in one.
Little bit. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it just you can't get away with just painting that black, can you?
No, so yeah, so I'll do that.
What I find fiddly with that is the distancing and making sure, because you don't want a wonky barrel either, do you?
No, you don't know. I mean, maybe just painting two black dots on there is probably the best way to do it. Maybe
that's not a bad idea. I mean, obviously you can measure it up and paint some like pilots for you to drill the hole in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those. What does everyone in the chat think? Do you drill barrels or do you not drill barrels? Shaken Bone says, I wouldn't do the hobby if I could not play, but I'll never play unpainted, so I'm forced to paint, and there is times when I really enjoy painting. It's always a magical moment for me when a model is finished and the varnish is drying. Then I'll usually take pictures for Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, I agree. There's something we've said it many times in the past. There's just something about playing a game with two fully painted armies on the battlefield that looks really, really cool, isn't there?
Definitely.
You know, I've played with unpainted models, but I'd rather play with painted if I can. So yeah, that's it. I mean, at the minute, I'm kind of just jumping between projects on just what looks cool. I think you probably are as well, Jay. At the last few weeks.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I was painting Sisters last week, and then now Grey Knights. Yeah.
Yeah, so who knows? I did say to Dave I might try and get 2,000 points of Stormcast painted up. I've got 1,300 in the Dominion box, so I've got 2,000 points ready for when the new book comes out. But if I'm honest, I might start painting these guys because they look really cool. And I fancy painting up. I don't know if any of you guys are interested, but I fancy painting up some of the Elder Scrolls. The really white resin, so you might be able to see there. But some of the Elder Scrolls models, because you can play this solo. So I was thinking, if I'm free on like a Friday night, I could stream a solo delve and we'll go dungeon crawling with the chat, and they can help make some decisions and work out what's happening. I think that'd be a bit of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, Anonymous Rex reckons that you should drill the gun barrels. Adds to the punchy look.
Yeah. I probably will do that. I don't know what on the Paladins whether those gun barrels are already drilled out or not. Let's have a look. I've got my Paladins Grey Knight Terminator sprue here. Really nice. Storm bolters.
I think on older kit, I think it's only
no.
So to get drilled barrels, you need a sliding mold, which like Gunpla kits. I was building the Evangelion kit a while ago. Have really advanced sprue technology. Games which were relatively recently added like sliding components to the molds to get that kind of undercut detail in the drill barrels and stuff. So newer ones do have it, older ones unfortunately. I think it's a case of drilling the barrels, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh well, not a big problem.
Cool. Well, that is our stream for today. We started a little bit late because, as I said, we had some technical problems from the out, but that should be sorted now for next week. So, hope you've enjoyed this. A little look at the Necromunda Nautica Syphoning Delegation kit. Bit of an unboxing and a build. And yeah, Jay working on his Grey Knight. So, if you are new to the channel and you've enjoyed this, why not subscribe over on YouTube or follow on Twitch? If you would like to support the site, we've recently become an affiliate on Twitch as well, so any subscriptions there would be massively appreciated, but definitely not expected of you. It's been fun doing these, and we enjoy sharing the hobby with you. We also do a battle report on a Saturday lunchtime, every week. We tend to alternate between 40k and AOS is the plan. Obviously, that might shift depending on what the big release is that week. We also do a podcast that goes out weekly as well, where we talk all hobby things. And head over to www.spruesandbrews.com for all the latest reviews and news and articles and fun stuff like that. So it's been great doing some hobby with you guys. Hope to see you all next time, and hope this weather keeps up for the rest of the week.
Yes.
So yeah, until next time, we'll see you all later, and yeah, take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.